What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Sleepy Woozy, and we are here to talk about the robbery of the season. And I don't see no one talking about this. So if somebody has done it, done an expo on it, sorry if I'm biting, even though I don't know. But we have to talk about Paul George, man. Paul George has been able to skate free of any type of criticism this season. We know he got hurt last season, and he's kind of recovering from that. He's only played like 14 games this season, but of the 14 games that he's played, he is horrible. Now I know you can put it to nagging injuries or whatever you have to say, but a wise man once said, "If you're out there and you're playing, we don't care if you're hurt or not. You're out there to play." And to me, Paul George is just an older, more injury prone, less available version of Tobias Harris for his term with the 76ers. I have some things to look at. We have some clips. And it is baffling that I do not hear the discourse about this. When Tobias Harris, as the third option, probably fourth option for that 76ers team, the fans wanted him gone. The fans was complaining about him. The media would talk about him and ridicule him. And he even took to the stage one time, and I'll show y'all later, where he took to the stage and he said basically, bro, where else in the league are you going to find another 6'9" defending wing who can shoot 40% from the three, who can get his 15 plus points on limited touches, who can be one of your best defenders and best rebounders, because he was averaging like 6 rebounds, and he can play make. He was getting 3, 4, 5 assists as the third, fourth option, depending on if Embiid was in the lineup or not. He would show up as much as they allowed him to in the playoffs. When Embiid did go down, he had a huge playoff game, which we will talk about. We'll talk about all the highs of Tobias Harris. And not to mention that Tobias Harris did not get the respect that he was owed. And I even say this now because I'm a Harden fan, and I'll let you know, little biased. I believe that if the Clippers was to get Tobias Harris and slot him at that power forward, even though I love John Collins, don't get me wrong, I feel like that would be a great fit, because then Kawhi can go to the 3. You can have Harden at the 1. You can put Batum in at the 2, or you can keep Dunn, or Kawhi at the 2, Batum at the 3. Have those 3 guys out there with your center, where Zubac come back healthy, or Brook Lopez, because he's been playing great, and people haven't talked about Brook Lopez enough, but we're going to talk about that another day. But, we're just going to get into this, right? So, with that being said, first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at the contracts. So, we're going to go here. So, Tobias Harris, his contracts with the 76ers, he had a 5-year, $180 million deal in 2019, right? So already the number is substantial. How much that he was giving to be this. At the time, they didn't have Harden, so at this time it was the second, third option next to Ben Simmons, who wasn't really giving you much, and Embiid, who was their leading center. And when you look at Paul George, he was given a 4-year, $212 million contract, which includes a play option. But not only that, but this was in the idea of uniting him as the second or third option, depending on how you look at it, with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, right? So you were to think with this much money he would be available. But we all know, as far as Paul George and his injuries and his availability is spotty at times. Even though when he was with the Clippers, he was more available than Kawhi Leonard. But that's not what we're here for. So this is the contracts, right? You have one guy making $212 million for 4 years, and one guy that was making 5 years, $180 million. Now they did lose Jimmy Butler because of this, and the infamous saying, "Y'all chose Tobias Harris over me." Crazy, but for this system, okay, cool. So now we're gonna look at the stats, right? So we're gonna look at Tobias Harris stats, and this is just for his term with the 76ers. He played 351 games. All he started. He averaged 14 shots a game. He hit about 7 of them. That's a good enough for 49%. On the 4 3-pointers that he attempted, he hit 1.5. That's good average of .37. Not crazy given that he don't shoot a lot of a volume. I think that if he took another one, his percentage will go higher. Like if he took 5, I'm pretty much saying that he probably would hit 2 more often than not. And then that would just shoot him up to 40%, which would be great. Because if you can see later in the year, right, in these 3-year window, he was a better shooter. His last year with him was not as good, and his first one was reminiscent of his third one. Which again, for that first one, I can understand. It's his first time with the team for a long time because he did get traded there. Right here, 2018, 2019, right? But regardless of that, if you can look at his 3-point attempted, he came in shooting 5, then he scaled it back to 3, still about 3-4 range, hit up 4 and hit up 3. That was the end of it all. And he was still a respectable 3-point shooter, right? So for his term with the Clippers, he averaged 17.6 points. He averaged 6.5 true rebound, one of them being offensive rebound occasionally, and 3.1 assists, which is not bad, given that he's not the main ball handler. He's not the main playmaker for that team. They always had a playmaker. They had Ben Simmons, they had Harden and Maxey. So his major thing was to play defense and score. Which if you're getting 17 points a game out of your second, third, fourth option, depending on who's out there, because when Embiid's out there, he's the first. Then you had, I want to say Maxey, then Harden, then Tobias. You're getting 17 points out of your fourth option, bro. That is great, right? And 1.5 turnovers. So he's not turning the ball over a lot. He's barely fouling, 2 fouls over his tenure with the 76ers, which I think is great, honestly. So then you go to Paul George with his injury. Now, he did get injured, and, this is just the context behind his stats. I don't want to just give out stats. We're going to get the context. So he had difficulty in 2025 season with the 76ers battling multiple injuries, including a preseason knee hyperextension, which we all know from Paul George is a recurring thing. He does get injured. And you know what? Sometimes it is in the preseason. I think one season in 2014, he completely broke his, and I think that was either a preseason game or it was like an Olympic game or something. So that's something that you roll the dice on his injuries. And it's sad to say that. But even if you look here, with his tenure with the 76ers so far, it has been disappointing. Now, I will grant he's only played 55 games, so it can get better throughout. But for these 55 games, he's averaging 16.2 points, 4 assists, and 5.4 rebounded. So he's not. The rebounding is marginal. I guess Tobias Harris will be the better offensive rebounder, a more consistent threat on that end. But when you are playing with the likes of Joel Embiid, the likes of James Harden and Tyrese Maxey, you do get an opportunity to hover around a little bit to get an offensive rebound game. So not only that, Paul George has been more of an on-ball option, especially given the sense of he's been the consensus third option, if not second, because Embiid is hurt. Embiid does get hurt a lot. And you also have the points where they let him ISO. And I'm telling you, him ISOing in this Lord year 2025 is fries, bro. It is terrible. If you watch his low lights, he is not going nowhere. So he's throwing all this on 37% field goal from the 3-point field goal, which is fine because Tobias Harris was also at 37. So he's not that much of a better shooter, even though he shoots more threes than Tobias did. About 2 more a game. So they about shooting the same percentage for their 3-pointers. And that field goal, Paul George is 42 from the field. Tobias Harris, if we just go back, was 48. He's only taking 14 shots a game. Paul George, let me know this now. Paul George is taking about 14 shots a game. He's only making 5. Tobias Harris was making 7 shots a game. And what stands out to me, if you look at that, Tobias Harris was only averaging 2.7 free throws a game. Paul George is averaging 2.6 free throws a game. They're getting the same free throws. So it's not even a standard of, oh, one just getting more free throw shots or one is getting more looks. They are getting the same amount of looks. They are getting the same amount of foul shots. They are damn making the same rebounds. The playmaking ain't that crazy. 4.1 to 3.1. You're getting one more. Whoop-de-doo. He's getting one more rebound. It's the same player. 0.8 on steals, 0.6 on blocks. 1.7 on steals, 0.5 on blocks. One steal doesn't really make that big of a difference. You're getting one more steal a game. Okay, great. You might play your passing lane. You might pluck somebody occasionally. But even Tobias Harris, he was 0.8. So every other game, he's at least getting you more than likely one steal. And so, sometimes he might get you 2. 0.8 and 1.7 ain't that crazy. Now, if Paul George was a consistent 2 and Tobias wasn't a consistent 1, I'd be like, okay, he got it. He plays the lanes better. He's probably better on ball. Got you. 0.5 and 0.8, we don't even talk about that. Paul George is 2.4 on turnovers. Again, Tobias Harris is 1.5. Marginal. Paul George, 2.3 on fouls. Tobias was 2-0, right? The only difference between these two is one shoots way more threes. That's it. 6 to 4. He shoots 2 more threes, and Tobias Harris just gets mid-range and in the paint more. And one thing that I will say about this team is, honestly, they didn't use Tobias Harris like how they should. I feel like the offense was more stagnant. When Embiid came back, it was, I'm not going to say just horrific, but it wasn't great. If you actually think about it, when Boston ended up going to the NBA Finals and they lost to Golden State, right? That was the year that they played against the 76ers. James Harden won against Boston. The second time that the 76ers won, the bench players played amazing. The role players played great, right? The third game, James Harden hit a game winner, and then they ended up losing. Embiid played terrible. Embiid played terrible that whole time. I'm talking about that last game, that 7, and game 6 when Tatum randomly struck fire the last couple minutes and started hitting every 3 possible. Embiid played terrible. He was getting locked up by Al Horford. They wasn't even doubling. They was just sending Al Horford and just letting him rock, right? So cool. I forgot I cannot do that. They was letting him rock. Embiid played terrible. That was probably the team that's supposed to go to the finals. Granted, with this situation being what it is, I will say, right, that Embiid to line up with Paul George has also been dealing with some ongoing right knee soreness and injury management. Embiid has always been injury prone. He's always been hurt. That's not anything to be surprised by. If you look at his tenure with the 76ers, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it went all the way up. 6, 7. About 7 out of his 10 years in the NBA, he has been under 60 games. If you look at 7, and these are the two years that he didn't play. So he's only played 60 games 4 times out of the 10 that's logged. And if you look at it, the 2023-24, he only played 39 games. That was before Paul George came over. He played 66 and 68 this year, 51, 51, 64, 63. He's been injury prone. He's not a consistent 65 games played a year guy. He's only done it twice out of his career. Only twice has he played 65 games, which means if you're the 76ers, you expect Embiid to miss at bare minimum, right? If you're going to give him 65, like you, oh, well, with 65, you expect him to miss almost 20 games a year. That's not average. Like if we're going to talk about average, it's going to bring it down to about 50. Let's say 52, right? Let's be generous. You're going to expect him to miss 30 games out of the goddamn season. A lot can happen in 30 games. That can be the difference between you being a first seed and an 8th seed. So you need people who can carry the load as that option, right? As the scoring option. And even if you look at the actual numbers, Embiid, when he won the MVP, he had a career high. No, not a career high points. For the time, it was a career high points at 33 per game. He was doing great from the free throw line. He was hitting 10 of those a game. He was doing great from a rebound sense, 10. And it's still arguable if he should have won that at all, right? But he did play 66 games that year. And I just don't see where you go off with Paul George from this point, because even now, this year, in late 2025, his injuries are including a right ankle sprain and a lingering left knee soreness from off-season injury. So that has severely limited him. Paul George right now has only played 14 games. And out of that 14 games, look, I'm not making it up. In the 14 games he's played, he's 7-7. He's a 500 ball club with him playing. So that means that the 76ers, with Paul George playing, are on pace to be a 500 ball club. Without Paul George, they are literally 9-7. Without Paul George, they are playing, scoring and winning 9 out of the 7 games. With Paul George, they're 7 out of 7. I'm not saying that they're better without him, but I am saying in those games that he's played, they're a 500 ball club. Right now, they're above a 500 ball club, 7th in the East. Practically without him. Like, I don't know what more that I have to say, but it's still early in the season. But given the stats, right, that we have, given the opportunities, the buckets, he's just looking to be another Tobias Harris, which Tobias Harris isn't a bad player at all. But Tobias was 27-31 when he had this contract, and Paul George is 34-35. And he's averaging about the same points, about the same efficiency. I'm telling you, like, for Paul George, it's pretty much fries. It's pretty much over. Like, yo, look. Right, I'm not even going to be biased. I'm going to go straight to YouTube. Again, y'all can follow me at youtube.com @SleepyWoozy. But that's not what we're doing. We not plugging might as well plug it a little bit. Some of the stuff I've been doing. But Paul George, smooth highlights. Yeah, I remember that. Low lights. 76ers, right? And Lowe did a whole thing on that. But let's say, look.
Hey, Dada, I got you ring back. Are you good to me?
Ads, bro, ads. Like, we're talking about Paul George. First shot as a Sixer. This is his first season with them. The bucket. Like, this is a 5-minute video of Paul George. That's a good lob. But mind you, they got Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre, Paul George. What was that? He's not even playing this. Look, he just looked them up. Like, yo, I'm saying, oh my lord. Like some of this, look, off the curl, lost the ball. Like, that wasn't even defense. He just lost the ball. He just lost that look. Boom, tried it right behind his back, turned it over. Like, this is the guy that's making 200. Wide open three. Well, it's an open three. It was an open look. Right? Post up Paul George. Open fadeaway. Good shot. Mind you, these are the lowlights. The good pads, right? Paul George wide open. Like, he's not doing anything that Tobias Harris wasn't doing. That's a good steal. But nothing. Look, trying it right over. Right off the handle. Like, if you look up a random Tobias Harris 76ers low lights, and then you saw it again, steal. Right off of your foot. Like, a tough three. Like, another post up. A tough midi. That's a tough midi. And I guess that's what you're paying for tough shots. They get you a tough shot when the clock is running down. But as the clock is running down, look, another tough three. Miss. Like, when you get a guy like Paul George, yes, you have to let him work. But when he's shooting just as good or just as bad as Tobias Harris, when you had him, it doesn't move the actual needle. Clank. Threes are clank. Like, again, I'm not going to. I'm going to just put into Tobias Harris, right? 4 high, low lights. Probably by the same person. But he had 26 points. And this is 3 minutes.
Build a website you love.
I want you to know that Paul George's whole thing was 5 minutes. This is 3 minutes. This is 2025 regular season. With the Pistons. Look at this. Like, this is what Tobias Harris is doing. He's getting wide open and he's hitting a shot. Mind you, this season, he's getting his post ups against the weaker person. He's being aggressive and he's getting there. Like, I don't know. Like, would you rather have an injury prone Paul George or a role player who can hoop, and Tobias Harris, who can play multiple positions for your team? He can play the power forward, he can play the small forward, and if you really need him to, he can play your 2 guard if y'all big enough. And he can still post up weaker opposing players. He can get you a good bucket, and he can spray from the corner. And he's a consistent rebounder. He crashes the board. Look. And then he pushes it. And he finds his teammates. Turns it over, but you see the vision. He wanted to. They were just on the wrong page. Bring it up. Look it up. Boom. Oh, yeah. I like this. He's going to turn it over. But it's okay. He's trying to help. I mean, he's trying to find it. The communication with this team ain't there yet. It's a bunch of younger players that wasn't there when he got traded from that team. A tough mid-range pull-up. Look at him. On the wing, on the right side of where he's supposed to be, top of the key, catch and shoot. Boom. He doesn't need to, like, dribble. Like, I'm not saying that Tobias Harris is an all-time better player than Paul George. But in this season, when he's played 8 more games than Paul George, right? He played 8 more games than Paul George. Let's go head to head, right? He played 8 more games than Paul George. Paul George is having 16. Right? 16 on 40% shooting. 3 free throws attempted a game. He's getting you 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Tobias Harris is giving you 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 45% from the field, only getting 11 and 32 from the 3. Paul George is getting 13, so 2 more shots a game, shooting a worse percentage, and shooting way more threes. Like, I don't... Like, listen. All I'm saying is, for this long, expanded thing, I don't think that Tobias Harris to Paul George is the upgrade that many of the fans was hoping for. I don't even think that Tobias Harris for Paul George is an upgrade. to be completely honest. He takes some more shots. He's barely averaging more points. He's averaging 2 more points. And he's shooting worse. I think that Tobias Harris is the role player that a lot of teams need. He can get you double digit points. He don't need a lot of shots. He can shoot wide open at a good clip. And he plays defense. He rebounds. He works hard. And he's in the right spot. I think that for some, you might like the star grab of Paul George. But even now, if you look at his contract now, right? And this is the last time. If you look at his contract now, he signed a 2-year, $52 million deal with the Detroit Pistons. So over 4 years, that'd be 100. That's half of what Paul George's is. This is a great contract. Like, this is literally for the league that we're in now. This is a great contract. You're getting a useful role player, right? Useful role player. A good starter at power forward who's giving you 14 points a game on 11 shots on 45% efficiency on a $25 million contract. That's not a crazy contract. For 14 points, 25 M's, and he plays defense and he rebounds. And he's shooting good. Like, there's players who's making more than him, i.e. a Paul George, who's barely producing as much, who do get injured, who are injury prone, who are older, and is playing less. So even if you give me 2 more points, I'm only getting those 2 more points for 8 less games. Mind you, the Pistons are actually one of the best teams in the NBA right now. They are best in the East, and they just lost to the Clippers. They're 24-8. They are a great team. They lose mostly on away games. They just lost to the Clippers. Like, the Pistons are a great team. Like, if you look at that breakdown for what they have, right? And if you go by points, you got Cade, you got that center Dawn who's good. Then you have Tobias Harris as that third option. For 25, he missed 7 games, but it's fine. For 25 M's, your third option is giving you 13 points. That's half of what your point guard is giving you. I mean, well, your star player. Cade is giving you 25. Dawn is giving you 18. And I promise you, Cade's probably taking every bit of 20 shots a game. Cade is probably taking every bit of 20 shots a game. (18, 19, 15, 6 for 9, easy win, 9 for 20, 12 for 30, 21, 10, 18, 15, 15, 15. He's taking about 17. So, which I think some of these games, he's like the Clippers game, it was a tough matchup. It was tough for them. They was trying to go play defense. It wasn't. Kawhi had 50 something, like 55. Like, Cade is that score. Like, that's what he do. He's taking 17 shots a game, right? 17. Tobias is taking 11. Jalen Duren, they're a center. Where's this season? This season, he's taking 11 shots, the same as Tobias. He gets to the free throw line a lot more. That's why he's averaging 18. He gets to the free throw line 5 times, almost 6 times a game. Tobias is only getting there 2, maybe 3 times a game. He's averaging 13. Like, the Tobias contract is not bad. Like, when you put it into perspective, that he's getting to the line maybe 3 more times. He's getting, like, alley-oops get given to him, good passes. He's being efficient. This is not bad. If you go to the 76ers, it's going to look wicked. Like, I think it's time to put some respect on Tobias Harris' name. He's a great role player. He's a great third option. He's an even better 4th option. Like if he's your 4th option, giving you 13, then your team is great. Like, there's a lot of teams who don't have that out of a fourth option. Like, let's go to the 76ers, right? Just because they're playing right now, as I'm making this like video, Paul George has 13 on 4 for 12. He's shooting 33% as I'm doing this video. 33%. Barlow has 12. He's 6 for 10. Embiid is back in. He's 9 for 22, but he has 30. He has 12 free throws. Maxey has 31. He's 12 for 16 with 3 free throws, 4 for 6. VJ Ascombe, who is, I'm telling you, VJ Ascombe is going to be a great player, right? He has 11 points. He's 5 for 13, 1 for 5 on 3. He's not shooting it well, and he has no free throws. Him and Paul George are basically shooting the same thing, right? And for one to be just learning the league, and the other one is a vet, and you getting the same productivity out of it. Let's say Joel B is the first option. He's the second option. They're shooting the same. Paul George just missed another shot as we're talking, right? So he hit more threes than has free throws, which is why he has 2 more points than VJ Ascombe. But VJ Ascombe has hit more shots. So you tell me who's the third option? Because Paul George just shot again in the fourth quarter. Who's the third option? It might be VJ, right? Then you say, well, Barlow is doing all right. He's scoring his points, whatever. But Barlow ain't getting that much burn because Quentin got to get in. So Barlow might be the fifth option. But if you're looking at VJ and you're looking at Paul George, it's hard to tell who's the third option. Because Paul George ain't the second option right now. So, hey, look, all I'm saying is we need to put some more respect on Tobias Harris' name. I want to do more content about the NBA, probably slice in some more highlight plays or whatever. But this is my opinion. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping, if I'm not giving PG enough grace because of his injuries, or if I'm being real because if Paul George is an injury player who you know that he's prone for injuries because after his 2014-2015 season, I mean, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. He has 5 seasons since leaving OKC where he's playing under 60 games. So in that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 season span, he's not playing 60 games. So you're expecting him to miss 22 or more games a year. That's what the 76ers got. Now last year, not last year, but the year before, he did play 74 games. So maybe the 76ers thought he was getting that Paul George. But if you look back at during his tenure with the Clippers, he was injured. He did not play. Sometimes he was listed at power forward because Kawhi was injured. Like, this is what you're getting. You look back at the track record, he wasn't playing 60 games. And I feel like missing a fourth of the season when your contract is 20, 30 M's is a lot of games missed. You're missing a fourth of the season minimum. Bare minimum. You're missing a fourth of the season. 6 out of the 7 years. I just don't think. Hey, listen. I'm yapping. Let me know in the comments if I'm tripping, if Tobias Harris isn't the player that Paul George is, even though they both look like third and fourth options. Tobias is solidified as that third option. Paul George is the toss-up between him and VJ Ascombe. So, y'all let me know. Like and comment for more. Let me know if you want me to do another player, another analysis. This your boy Sleepy. Stay sleep.